Good evening, and welcome to the Tweeds County Board of Education meeting. Thank you to our in-person and online communities and stakeholders for joining us this evening. It is my pleasure to call the Tweeds County Board of Education meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, February 8th, 2022. The time is now 6:05 p.m. May we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we prepare to pause for a moment of silence, I'd like to dedicate this moment of silence to the mother of Miss Shirley Stokes, who passed away this week. So we want to keep Miss Stokes, a dear board member and friend of ours, in our prayers at this time. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I will entertain a motion to amend tonight's agenda. That amendment is for the purpose of adding business agenda item D. This would be the adoption of our redistricting resolution. So again, this motion is to approve tonight's agenda with an amendment, and that amendment being adding a business agenda item D, adoption of redistricting resolution.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion to approve the agenda with the amendment of item B.
Thank you, Madam Blackshear. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by District 3, Ms. Rhonda King. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye, raising your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. We have accepted our agenda for tonight's meeting, February 8th, 2022, our virtual and in-person board meeting, adding business agenda item D, adoption of redistricting resolution. At this time, I will point your attention to our minutes, approval of our January 25th, 2022 BOE work session. Board members, we've received these in our packet prior to tonight's meeting. This time I'll ask for a motion to approve the January 25th, 2022 BOE work session minutes if there are no amendments or corrections.
So moved.
Properly made by Ms. King. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Mr. Rouse. Any discussion? Again, this motion is to approve our minutes from our January 25th, 2022 BOE work session. No discussion. Anybody saying aye, raising your hand? Aye. Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. At this time, I will ask for an ethics statement by Ms. Teresa Blackshear.
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest and interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearing on our proposed agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you, Madam Blackshear. At this time, does any board members have any comments or remarks at this time? Does any board member have any comment or remarks at this time? Seeing none, superintendent's comments and remarks. Dr. Bullard.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, board members, all of our community members that are with us on tonight in time of celebration and those who are virtual. I'm going to yield a portion of my superintendent comments to Ms. Jenkins, the principal of Jeffersonville Elementary School, and Ms. Leah Toney. Would you all please come forward?
On behalf of Tweeds County Public School, giving honor to Mr. Board Chair Harris,
Proceed.
our great superintendent, our assistant co-chair, Mr. Rouse, and board members. I'd just like to say that many months ago, we started a community effort. That community effort was led by Ms. Tony, and she really wanted to bridge the gap between what happens at Jeffersonville Elementary School and our community, and let our community know that we are a thriving elementary school, a thriving district. And we want to do that through book writing. This is an initiative that is spearheaded around many other areas, many other states, and we want to bring it to our rural loving environment. And so Ms. Tony will talk about that collaboration, and then after she talks about it, I'm going to tell you how personal it was and how celebratory it was, because anything can happen in Tweeds.
Good evening, everyone. Board Chair,
Proceed.
Vice Chair, and the board. I'm glad to be here tonight with you all. So this idea came through research, of course, and looking to see how can we get our kids excited about reading. And so I came across this wonderful idea about doing a storybook walk. So I pulled everyone together and we talked to the mayor and we came up with the city park. And what we would do is we would put yard signs, form a trail, put yard signs, and as the students are walking, they could be reading a book. And at the end of the walk, they would get to the last sign and it would have a QR code where they could scan. And then it would say, now you may proceed to the library where you will get a surprise. And so they would go to the library and Ms. Finch would have a bag for them. And so that would just encourage them, get them excited about reading. And in the bag, we talked about putting books, coupons to restaurants so that we could patronize our businesses, bring people to downtown, get everyone excited. And so we also came up with the idea to put signs in front of the courthouse, City Hall, the Sheriff's Department with facts about Twiggs County. So even the adults could walk around and also see facts about the county. And so I was like, well, whose book will we choose? So I called Ms. Jenkins and we put together a book writing contest. She did all of the work. I just came up with the idea. Her and her staff, they did such a wonderful job. And they chose a winner for the book walk, and that person's book will be printed on those signs. And so we are so excited, and I will give it back to her so she could present the winners.
And so you know that we are a district that generates excellence, one team, one goal. And it is always our desire to inspire, prepare, and challenge all students to compete globally. And that happened at the elementary school. There is nothing that we can't accomplish with our great readers, our great leaders. And so we open it up to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And I just want to let you know that we had many entries. And the requirements was, because we do want to instill endless pride in our school and in our district, they had to write their story. The protagonist had to be a tiger. He could be in any form, but the protagonist had to be a tiger. And so our wonderful students did a great job, but we must declare a winner. And so I'm going to say our 2nd grader, Miss Mackenzie Harris, was our 2nd place winner. She was great. Her story was wonderful. She's going to come up. Come up, Mackenzie. 2nd grade. So we have many years of excellence here. If you'll stand in front of Dr. Bullock, in the middle, right there in the middle, sweetheart. 2nd grade excellence, and she is taught by Ms. Capiz, Ms. Stevens, and Ms. Mack in our 2nd grade classes. And we must have a winner. That super tiger and that writer, Ms. Sarah Wright, 4th grader at Jeffersonville Elementary School. She is taught by her mommy, Ms. Wright, Ms. Thomas, and Ms. Anderson, and she is a super tiger, and we are so proud of her. She is a winner. And so our community will get a chance to see her book throughout our community. Of course, we'll take all of our scholars to have that experience so they too can know this is a community effort. And as always, I just want to say that I'm incredibly proud of our students, and I can't wait for our community to continue to rally around us, because great things are always happening in Twiggs County.
I just want to add, so how we're going to get the money for all of this is we are partnering with the school district because we love the school district. You guys are awesome. And you guys received the L4GA grant. And so I talked with Ms. Reardon, and we're working together to purchase everything that we need for the Storybook Walk. And it's going to be a big deal. We're going to get the press out there. We're going to make it a big to-do on that day. And we're going to have the students come over from the elementary school to have a grand opening for the Storybook Walk at the park. Thank y'all so much.
Awesome.
Mr. Chair, of course, we're very excited about our young authors. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Our young authors are doing wonderful things. I have one short additional announcement, and that is just to remind our parents and our community that on Friday, next Friday, February the 18th, and Monday after next, the 21st, the school district will be closed in honor of President's Day. President's Day is the day in which our country has a federal holiday to celebrate and to honor all of those who have served as president in this country. And we will be closed on Friday the 18th and Monday the 21st, which is actual President's Day, the third Monday in February every year. So parents and guardians, please make sure you secure child care for your children on those 2 days, because the school district will be closed. That concludes the superintendent comments on tonight. Mr. Chair, thank you. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard. I want to say congratulations to our young scholars, and thank you, JES, and thank you, Ms. Tony, for being a visionary and casting that vision to our great leadership team at JES, and for you to execute. So thank you so much, Ms. Boston, Ms. Jenkins, Mr. Wiltshire, all of you at JES for what you do, as this is the work that we want to see, Dr. Bullard. And she said partnering and how we will fund it. We will fund anything that has to do with the literacy and elevation of the academia in our district here in Twiggs County. So thank you so much for just the idea, as principals sometimes get worn thin doing the day-to-day operations. So that those added pieces and partners with your department definitely helps our district. So Dr. Bullard, if they need it, call Mr. Mike, and then we'll make sure they get it. But thank you so much again. Early literacy is the way, and inspiring young readers and young writers will take our district far. So thank you. At this time, if no more board member comments and superintendent comments, we're going to move into our business agenda. Business agenda item A. This is a bus driver field and athletic trip pay. This is an information item being presented by our assistant superintendent and CFO, Mr. James Austin. Good evening, Mr. Austin.
Good evening, Board Chair.
Good evening.
Vice Chair, board members, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, constituents, virtually, and in-person colleagues, staff, and community members. Part of our budget calendar is to ensure that we are looking and examining each of our pay rates as it relates to all of our staff. We are looking at the bus driver rates for field and athletic trips. In research, we discovered that the rates have not been looked and examined since 2009. And we wanted to take a look to ensure that we're on a market and that we're having a fair opportunity for our bus drivers as it relates to field and athletic trips. But before we get into the presentation, I want to ensure that we always remember we have a vision of generating excellence, one team, one goal, with the mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. The bus driver field and athletic trips. In this chart that you see before you, I will start to my left with local. Local is anything that happens within Twiggs County Public Schools, within the community, within the county. School to school or board office, this would be an opportunity, as we've seen tonight, if students was to be transported from the school to the board office for an award or vice versa, there's an opportunity for the bus driver to receive a $10 one-way or $20 round-trip fee for that particular route. Other location in Twiggs County Public Schools is for one way is $15, and for a round trip, it's $30. Statewide, as it relates to field trips, 50 miles or less round trip is $45 daily. 51 miles to 100 miles round trip, $50 daily. 101 miles or more round trip, $60 daily. Out of state, $80 daily. Statewide weekend and overnight trips, $70 daily. Athletic trips, $65 per trip. Anything out of state, $80. These are current rates since 2009. We have not begun the research to compare to other districts as of yet. We will begin that work, but we wanted to show you all in the community what work we're going to undertake before we start reaching out to other districts and compare the data. But we are excited to at least have the opportunity to look at the rates and thank the bus drivers for all they have done for us as it relates to transporting the students in county, out of state, and overnight if they did. Any questions, concerns, or comments?
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
You're welcome.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
My question to you is, are you gonna be looking at, so do we have in the budget to increase this amount?
If it's in our budget and the data shows a need for increase, then we will present that as a recommendation. Yes, ma'am.
Considering adoption, you mean that you would put this forth to take an effect on our current budget?
No, sir. This is FY23 information. So this is a part of our current budget calendar. So we're looking at this information to support FY23. Yes, ma'am. It's a good question, Mr. Harris. Thank you.
I think you're off the hook, Mr. Austin. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Business agenda item B. This is Kelly Services update. This is an information item being presented by Ms. Ariel Smith and Mr. Austin.
Good evening, board members. How are you?
Good evening. Well, how are you?
I have this big smile on my face because this is my first time officially meeting y'all, so hey.
Hello. We've heard a lot about you.
Oh, yay. I hope good things. My name is Ariel Smith, and I am your account manager for Kelly Education, and I want to tell you that it is an honor being here tonight. Very special day for me personally, but even more special day that I get to meet you guys. Because I've been wanting to meet you individually. I wanted to take this opportunity to share with you some of the great things that we've been able to accomplish as a partner since I would like to say 3, but technically 2 months being in partnership together. So without further ado, let's get started. Thank you. So our first slide that I do have, and this may look a little different from what you guys seen before, but I wanted to dive a little bit deeper in the data that we do have since we have began this partnership in November of last year. So we do have our applicant data. I do want you to take a look. At the beginning, the district did provide us with a listing of substitutes to transition from Twiggs County School District over to Kelly Education. That was a listing of about 32 substitutes. After a deep dive calling all those 32 substitutes, we ventured out and found that 16 of them were actually really working. That means that you had 16 substitutes that were truly actively working as your substitutes for all 3 of your schools that you have here. Technically 3 if we count the middle and high split, but yeah, that was 16 that were willing to transition. Out of the 32 total, you did have 11 that were actually hired by you guys and transitioned prior to this listing. Now, I don't believe they were just scrubbed off the list yet. So they had already been working for the district as district employees for this academic year. However, that left us with about 5 that decided that they were not ready to transition. This was for various reasons of pay rates, various reasons of not being interested in coming back, for their own various reasons. I didn't press too far, but I did tell them that if things change, that we would love to reach back out to them. You know, if whatever happened in their experience that they did have, or if the pay rate increased or anything changed, that we'd be willing to reach out to them and help them to be a source for the community in the capacity that they were before. They were okay with that, so we do have them in our back pocket. We do have, since then, I do want to make note that we have increased our applicant pool. So that, and every time I look at this number, it is overwhelming, especially from the areas and the people who have actually applied to work within the school district, work within Twigs. 85 applicants since we've started, since we've put the word out there, 85. This is not just from Twigs. This is within Twigs. This is Dry Branch. This is Fort Valley. This is Dublin, Monroe counties, Byron, even as far as McDonough. And part of that is because you have those applicants who still have family here. They still want to, you know, they still have family. They still want to be involved on days that they're off or days that they're down here visiting family. They would like to still support the community. So we give them that opportunity that if they're here for a day or two and they want to substitute at the school, then they're more than welcome to do so. Out of those 85 applicants, we've had 45 that we've interviewed, onboarded. However, we did have a drop-off. Out of the 45, and you can see on the next slide that out of the 45, there were some that did not transition over. The reasons for them not transitioning over were mainly because of the pay rate or because of their fingerprinting process. They could not afford it. And this is something that we're seeing across the board. This isn't just happening for Twigs. It is with the times that we're in. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows inflation is happening. So sometimes that fingerprint for that job that they really want has to take a back seat. Out of the applicant data, we do have the hire data that I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Since November the 8th, we have hired about 10 substitute teacher pairs. We've hired, since January of this year, 4. One of them is a food service substitute who has actually, I received very good remarks from her. She did her first day on last Friday, and she has already rocked it out of the park. And I told her before I got to this call, before I got to the meeting today, of the great job that she has already been told that she's doing. And just to say that that's a testament of someone who is what we're looking for Twigs is really good to hear. And out of those 4 that we've hired since January, 3 of them have been sub-teacher pairs who are already currently working. That brings us to a total of the collaboration that we have together of 30 substitutes that we've hired for the district. Now, mind you, that is a big growth from the 16 that we transitioned over from the district. Now, I will be the first to say that, yeah, 45 to 4, that is alarming. That caused me to dig. I'm a data-driven person, so I need to know what happened. I need to know why it happened. I need to know where these people are so I can get them back, so they can start to work and they can start to be of service and fulfill their commitment to the community. So with that in mind, I wanted to shift the focus for Twigs. I wanted to start out with my re-engagement process or my program. Not only just re-engaging those who may have stopped with their fingerprinting process because Christmas was coming up or because Thanksgiving was coming up and they had other priorities, but re-engaging them now, which we've already started a process for. Not only reaching out to them, but reaching out to those 5 who said, you know what, I'll think about coming back later. No, let's think about coming back now. You guys are making some great transitions, so we want to capitalize on that and tell them, hey, now is the time. We also have a collaboration with collegiate programs. I have an extensive background, which I'll tell you a little bit later, in higher education. And do you guys know how many colleges are in this area? It is a lot. Why not partner with those colleges and say, hey, let's meet with your Department of Education, which I do have a meeting in a college expo on next Thursday and Friday. Well, guess what? I'm bringing Twigs documentation, recruitment cards with me on that event, and I'm letting them know, hey, even though you are a graduate, you may not have your teacher certification, you can still substitute for Twigs. You can still get your foot in the door, you can still know the principal, you can still understand, how the school district works, and then if your path continues on, you can transition to work for the district. That is the pathway that we want to create. That is the partnership that we want to have. So collaborating with all of these colleges that are within your back door is going to allow to not only build a pipeline from now, but we're talking about future grad classes that are coming up. That way they understand, hey, Twigs will give me a shot when nobody else will. We want that to happen. Another thing is hosting and attending hiring events, like I said, for the Teacher Expo that I have coming up, and also bringing a KMB van. You guys have yet to see that awesome van that we do have for recruitment events. It is currently now being rewrapped, and I have already put it on the books since January of last year to bring that down here to Twigs and host with an event. And now that I know that you guys are having a book walk, I would love to be a part of that and have that on that tour as well. And then also highlighting your substitutes. Often I do hear substitutes say, well, I don't feel appreciated. Or even when they were being transitioned, they say, well, we're here, but the district can do more. Well, we want to partner and let them know you guys care. But we care as well, and highlighting their successes, highlighting their spotlights, letting them see that they are appreciated is something that we do want to start and something that we do want to do and implement. So we'll be doing that monthly highlighting, and we'll share that information with the district so you guys can have that information and post wherever you feel. Now, I would like to, I don't know how many of you actually know, but the partnership that you've created has allowed your substitutes to benefit in ways that I'm not sure it was available to them prior to, before. One of those things that a substitute can benefit from is having an affordable health care plan. A lot of districts don't have it within their budget, their academic budget, where they can offer health care benefits. With you guys partnering with us, you have now offered that to your substitutes. I had a substitute one day who told me last week that she is looking to get vision for being able to work as a Kelly substitute. She was not able to do that, even though she has health and she has dental. She wasn't able to get vision. Now she can. A 401k retirement plan. A lot of substitutes that you do have, this is their career. And so being able to offer them a 401k retirement plan where they can stay with you guys and be your substitute, that's huge. They don't usually get that with other school districts. Weekly pay. Some districts do pay monthly, bi-weekly. Your districts, your substitutes now get it weekly. That's huge. A Kelly Perks program. The Kelly Perks program that we do have is a partnership program with a lot of our different partners. So let's say travel, they can get a discount for that. iPhone, they can get a discount for that. Verizon, they can get a discount for that now. So anything dealing with shopping, and we know how big a discount is, especially now with everything going up. I cannot tell you how much my grocery bill is right now, but the fact that I can get a discount on it with being a Kelly employee, that helps out tremendously. So not only does your partnership mean a lot to us, but that just speaks volume for someone who was not able to get those kind of perks and benefits prior to being a Kelly substitute. With that, I do want to say thank you for allowing me to talk to you, but on a more personal note, I do want to let you know a little bit about who I am as a person. I am from this area, not Twiggs per se, but I am from a little small town called Macon County. I think y'all played them before. And I know a couple of people in the room have pretty much already heard this story, but I do want to let you know that I asked for this account. I asked for it. I did not want anyone else in Kelly to get it. The reason why is because I'm from this area. Not born and raised, but partially. But Twiggs reminds me so much of my hometown. It reminds me so much of Macon County. The Piggly Wiggly that I used to work at. All of the schools within one small, town area. The board members that you can see at the grocery store, and the principal that you can, see at the subway. Like, it's the same thing. So when I found that Kelly was going to partner with Twiggs, that's where I wanted to be. Not because I live in this area, but because y'all are like home. Y'all are like my second home. So if I'm going to take care, and my mom always taught me, if I'm going to take care of something, you take care of home. So that's the reason why I wanted Twiggs, and I'm really, really glad that I am your account manager, and I hope that we can grow this district like no other. Thank y'all so much. Any questions? Oh, thanks. Any questions?
I think if we do have questions, we probably wouldn't listen in.
It's okay. We can go back to slides. No
No,
worries.
I think you covered it.
Oh. Well, humor me. I will, Anybody? Okay. Well, I am here. I have 3 or 4 numbers, 2 emails, 2 textable numbers. So if you need me, Dr. Bullard, and of course, Mr. Austin does know how to get to me. Thank you so much for allowing me to. You got a question? No. Okay.
You're
okay.
fine.
All right.
Listen, I think you phenomenal presentation. Thank you so much for
thank you.
being here tonight. You probably answered most of the questions that we would have had or that we've already further discussed with Dr. Bullard. Dr. Bullard has been a great advocate in assuring that this was a good partnership and that any questions that we had before we met you were answered. So he's done a slight presentation for you before you got here. So I want to ease your job. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
We may have some questions a little later as we talk about updates when it comes to the closing of our school year.
Absolutely.
Budgeting for our next fiscal year. But right now, keep doing what you're doing. I think we will see some residuals from this partnership.
Absolutely.
If not,
Come to me.
Yeah, but for right now, I think we're fine. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for asking for the account. That means a lot, being from a small town and knowing how this works. So thank you.
Nobody understands small town like small town.
That's it. That's
Y'all
it.
have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Ariel. Thank you. All right. Business agenda item C. This is a district request, and this is an action item being presented by our superintendent. And we'll flow right into business agenda item D, into the adoption of our redistricting resolution.
Good evening again, Mr. Chair,
Proceed,
Mr. Vice Chair, board members, community members that are virtual, and those that are with us here on tonight. We do have district requests in terms of field trips, facility and property requests, and fundraisers. I'll take the field trip request first. Our Program for Exceptional Children's Department is requesting your permission for a field trip for their students to go to Waves Autism Center in Warner Robins, Georgia on Wednesday, February the 23rd. And the purpose of that trip is to continue to develop the social skills for their students by helping them to learn to interact with new and familiar people, helping them to learn how to socialize and make friends, and also build their skills such as will help them earn a job later in their future in terms of job etiquette. That is the one field trip request that we have on tonight we'd like for you to consider. We have 2 facility requests that have been presented to us as well for you to consider. The first field trip request is on Saturday, March the 19th, and that that facility request was made by Ms. Matilda Hightower and Ms. Mary Allewine. They'd like to utilize the Twiggs County Middle High School cafeteria for a family dinner. It's not a reunion, but a family dinner that would require more space than they have. So they'd like to utilize the cafeteria, the kitchen, as well as, of course, the restroom areas that night on March the 19th, which is a Saturday from 1 to 10 p.m. We have a second facility request for May the 1st from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and that is by one of our Twiggs County employees here at the central office, Ms. Anshel Walker. She is requesting the use of the Jeffersonville Elementary School gymnasium for a baby shower. And again, that's for February the 1st, 2022, which is a Sunday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those are the 2 facility requests that I'd like to present to you tonight for your consideration. And finally, there is one fundraiser request, and that fundraiser request would begin on Tuesday, March the 1st, and extend through Friday, April the 29th. The Junior ROTC has requested to have a fundraiser to sell chocolate bars through that period of time, and the money that is gained through that fundraiser will be for the purpose of sending those cadets to summer camp and to purchase additional JROTC equipment. Board members, these are the facility requests that we'd like for you to consider on tonight.
Board members, there is some further discussion that some of us may have in reference to facility and property requests. If I can get a quorum to agree that there may need to be some further discussion in facility and property requests, what I would ask you to do, or what I will present before you, is an opportunity to table that matter until conclusion of executive session, land legal matter, if you would. And at this time, I'd like to take field trips and fundraisers. It pleases the board.
So moved.
All right, Dr. Bullock.
Second.
All right, let me put that in the form of a motion. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair, I recommend, as you've suggested, to take an approved field trip request, also to approve the fundraising request, and to revisit the facility request after our executive session.
Thank you, Dr. Bullock. Board members, we've heard the recommendation from the superintendent to accept the field trips and fundraisers and revisit facility and property requests upon conclusion of executive session. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion's been properly made to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve field trips and fundraisers. May I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been properly made and second by Ms. Blackshear. Any discussion? No discussion. I know by saying aye, raising your hand. Aye. Any opposed? No opposed. That motion carries unanimously. And this time, we'll hear from our superintendent with our business agenda item D, adoption of redistricting resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, Ms. Laura Mathis, who is the Executive Director of the Middle Georgia Regional Commission, has reached out to our board via our attorney to discuss a resolution that does need to be approved by the board on tonight in reference to the redistricting that has to take place as a result of the 2020 Centennial Census here in Twiggs County. I'd like to take this opportunity to read the resolution for the hearing of the board and the community members. And the resolution states that the resolution of the Board of Education of Twiggs County, Georgia, approving a redistricting plan for the Twiggs County Board of Education, requesting that its local legislative delegation have such redistricting plan introduced as local legislation at the 2022 regular session of the Georgia General Assembly, providing for an effective date and for other purposes. Whereas the 2020 decennial census has been completed and the results thereof have been submitted to the Board of Education of Twiggs County, Georgia. Whereas such 2020 census reflects that the population of Twiggs County decreased by 1,001 persons to 8,022 persons. Whereas the voting districts for elected members of the Twiggs County Board of Education should be withdrawn in light of the 2020 census in order to comply with federal and state guidelines, including the principle of one person, one vote. And whereas the Board of Education requested and obtained assistance preparing such redistricting plan from the Legislative and Congressional Reapportionment Office of the Georgia General Assembly and the Middle Georgia Regional Commission. And whereas the Board of Education has considered public input on redistricting plans and made the proposed plan available to the public plan prior to the adoption of this resolution. And whereas the Board of Education desires to submit a proposed redistricting plan to its local legislative delegation to the Georgia General Assembly so that such redistricting plan can be approved by the General Assembly at its 2022 regular session and then signed by the governor. And whereas after consideration of the above public input, the principle of one person, one vote, and other relevant matters, the Twiggs County Board of Education has determined the most appropriate redistricting plan for the Twiggs County education and citizens of Twiggs County. Now unto, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of Twiggs County as follows. The Board of Education hereby approves the redistricting plan The Board of Education requests that its local legislative delegation to the Georgia General Assembly draft and introduce during the 2022 regular session of the Georgia General Assembly such redistricting plan for passage by the Georgia General Assembly and signing by the governor. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. Mr. Chair, that is the resolution that we ask for the approval of the board on tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard. Board members, we've heard the redistricting resolution. We're going to slide off right. Resolution presented by our superintendent, and we must adopt tonight. So at this time, I'll ask for a motion to approve the presented resolution for our district redistricting.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion to approve the adoption of the redistricting resolution.
Thank you, Madam Blackshear. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by District 3, Ms. Rhonda King. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve the motion to accept the redistricting resolution. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Bullard.
Thank you, board members.
All right. Dr. Bullard, seeing we amended our agenda for tonight's meeting, have we exhausted our business agenda for tonight's meeting?
Mr. Chair, we have exhausted our agenda for tonight.
Thank you. At this time, I have a motion to enter into executive session.
So moved.
Motion been properly made by Ms. Blackshear. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Rouse. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve the motion to enter into executive session. Aye. Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. Board members, we're now in executive session. Good evening again, Tweaks County. At this time, call for a motion to exit executive session and enter into public session.
So move.
Motion been properly made by Ms. Blackshear. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Rouse. Any discussion? Again, this motion is to approve the exiting of executive session and enter into public session. I know you by saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposers? No opposed. That motion carries unanimously. In our executive session, we have 3 items we want to bring to the floor. I will start with the amendment of the 2021-2022 fiscal year calendar for our district. There's an oversight printed on tonight's agenda. Dr. Bullard, it has on our agenda Friday, February 11th, early dismissal family night, that we want to amend to have a full day of a winter break from February 18th through February 21st, 2022. Dr. Bullard, am I correct?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
All right. At this time, if I would call for a motion to amend the FY 2021-2022 school calendar to eliminate the February 11th early dismissal and to only recognize the February 18th through the 21st winter break.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion that we approve the amendment of the calendar for 2021-22, that we do not have an early dismissal day on February the 11th.
Thank you, Madam Blackshear. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Rouse. Any discussion? Again, this motion is to approve the amendment of our FY 2021-2022 school calendar for no early dismissal on February 11th and only to observe our winter break February 18th through February 21st. I know you by saying aye, raising your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. That amendment has been made to our calendar. Facilities requests. Upon exiting public session, we only approved field trips and fundraisers. At this time, I would like for the board to review our facilities and property requests for facility usage for JES Gym, for family dinner on 3/19/22, and a shower in the same location, JES Gymnasium, 5/1/2022. At this time, I ask for a motion to approve the facilities request being presented by our superintendent.
I make that motion.
Motion been properly made by Vice Chair Rouse. May I have a second?
Second.
Second is by Ms. King, District 3. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye, raise your hand if you approve the facilities request. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. And finally, we have resignations to our district. We want to say congratulations and thank you for your service to Mr. Shelton Williams and Ms. Dr. Karen Kilgore, as we have received their retirement paperwork. Dr. Bullitt, these 2 individuals have served our district well, and we wish them well in their future endeavors. Thank you so much for your time here in Tweaks County. Board members, may I have a motion to accept the retirement action being presented by Mr. Shelton Williams and Dr. Karen Kilgore?
I make that motion.
Motion been properly made by Vice Chair Rouse. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Madam Blackshear. Is there any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Board members, have we exhausted our executive session actions and our business agenda for tonight's meeting?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Dr. Bullitt, have we exhausted all of our matters concerning the district for this February 8th, 2022 board meeting?
Yes, we have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. At this time, I ask for a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Motion's been properly made by Ms. Blackshear. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Rouse. Again, this motion is to approve the adjournment for tonight. I know you by saying aye. Any opposers?
Aye.
Aye. No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Good night, Tweaks County.